It's not.
You know what?
Facts.
We're gonna
every
name
opinion
this.
you say is not a fact. That's
I'm
your
not gonna
personal
lie.
opinion.
One thing I'll say is it depends on what most people want. And
Yo.
Hello. What up?
What's up, co-workers?
What's up, co-workers?
That sound like I tried to steal yours because you stole mine last week.
Whatever. But anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the We Outside Afterwork podcast. I'm Dana.
Your boy Aaron. What's up, y'all?
And today we are joined with a guest of the show. His name is Jamel. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Supports the pod, and he was like, "I'm free and I want to join." So what's up?
Absolutely.
Can I give him a quick little shout out?
Go ahead.
So he's one of the first people to join the pod from Instagram, right? Like, this is our hard work and our network and our connectivity.
Oh.
So, shout out to you for discovering us. That make us feel like we reaching new heights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, we definitely appreciate that. We definitely appreciate you making a trip down here,
We do. But we're going to get into his
course.
background and all of that later in the episode. Before we get started, though, I do want to just shout out us. So if we could get a bomb drop, because last episode was our 30th episode, and I didn't even notice.
I did, because my birthday is the 30th. That's my angel number.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't notice. But yeah, shout out to us. That's dope. So
Milestones, baby.
yeah, milestones are important. But so since Jamel is a guest, we usually start with an icebreaker game called Hot Takes.
Cool.
And the first one says, one person must always be more dominant than the other person in a relationship. What are y'all thoughts? Or you want me to go first? I'll go first and then we'll go around.
So y'all want me to go first? I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. So I think yes. I feel like you should have somebody who is and I feel like we always say this, but someone who just like takes the lead and helps the relationship move forward, which it does take two people, but the guy is usually that person.
I didn't want to question you, but taking a lead doesn't necessarily emphasize dominance.
It does.
It doesn't.
How you figure?
Because just because you are in charge of certain things doesn't mean that you are necessarily in control. Some people are just better at leading in certain charges.
I think it is a partnership though, right? Like it's two people together, but it does take one person, which is usually the man, to help cultivate the relationship. That's how I feel. But that's why women, like my friends, we tend to complain how guys just don't really do much of anything nowadays.
I was gonna mention that too.
Yeah, and we feel like we gotta wear the pants in the relationship.
No, I don't think that's what that is.
No, that's their situation.
Okay.
Don't try to.
I'm gonna explain it to you because
my friends.
y'all just really just threw it all on the men, right? You just said that it takes somebody to lead and somebody to join the lead, right? So if he's not taking the lead properly, where are you to position him to be in that lead? I don't think a lot of women necessarily give the right type of feedback and questions and help men. It is
how you tell them, right? How things that are wrong and things that you want them to work better on. But for my friends' situations, again, I'm not going to go into detail, but they have said that they've dated people who just want to play the game all day, sleep a lot, not really do too much to elevate themselves, and then they're the hustlers and the grinders, and they're the ones that feel all right, I'm doing all of this and you're not really matching what I'm doing, so what are we doing? Oh,
see, when I answer, I'm gonna get to that, but I'm gonna let Jamel go ahead and get his off.
Jamel.
Yeah, see, the thing is with that is, I hear that all the time. I speak to people every day. I speak to men and women every day, and that seems to be the narrative. And I'll say that one thing about this, you're absolutely right. There should be someone who is dominant, and you also right too. It don't have to be in all areas, but the thing is I think men should take that initiative, because ultimately what it comes down to is that's what women are attracted to.
Right.
That's what women want. So
that's what I'm attracted to.
Yeah, so men should want to take that lead, and women can take the lead sometimes. But the thing is do they want to do it all the time, and are they comfortable with it?
We don't want to do it all the time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, so
for some.
It's a give
and
and
I'd
take
rather
it.
be single.
Well, for me,
Oh my goodness.
I feel like you have to be equally yoked. in a relationship. So if you are taking the lead, you also have to have someone that's willing to be a follower, right? And not a follower to the perspective of Instagram followers and like you have no say so, but like I trust you enough that I'm going to allow your lead to dictate where we go in this situation. That's not more dominant. Like,
but you said something, not to cut you off, but you said something that I felt like was key, was you have to trust them.
Yeah.
Like they have to give you space to trust them in order to take the relationship to where it needs to be taken.
Of course, and
that's why I said he was correct.
And it's all good. It's all good. That's where that trust is, that line in the sand, right? That's that middle ground to make it where one isn't more dominant than the other, right? Whether it's a sexual thing, right? Yeah, a man is going to be more physically dominant, but at the same time, a woman has to reciprocate in other ways. So it's not just a matter of you gonna be the strong one, you're gonna be the general, and I'm gonna be the soldier. Like, nah, the soldiers are just as important to the war.
And it is a partnership, right? Like, it is two people in the relationship. A relationship does take two in order for it to be successful.
Or 4 or 5 or 6 or
no,
7.
it takes two. But if you're talking about multiplicity and being poly, then that's different. But anyways, did you say your card?
Yeah,
I didn't say my card yet.
I wanted to add on to that also. One thing you had said, like, is about the trust too. Like you said, she had to be willing to trust them to be able to take that initiative and take that lead. That's another thing. Like, I think women, when they want a guy who's a leader, they have to be able to trust them to take the lead, and also have to be able to trust them to make mistakes also. I think that's another thing that's big.
I think that's my issue.
Yeah,
like when I start to see the mistakes,
yeah.
I'm like, oh no, let me take
But
the
wait a minute, wait a minute.
So that's
because
what, like, I would say you was right, bro. Like, when it came to what you said.
But y'all, both of y'all, I'm gonna put both of y'all on the spot right now.
Please do.
Y'all both said the women have to establish that trust that the man can lead and blah, blah. What about the man establishing trust that she can follow properly?
Right.
Like, we're not talking about what
both of y'all, right?
Yeah, we're not talking about what women also can bring to this equation. Nor should we, because if you're equally yoked, it doesn't matter. Y'all are supposed to be balanced on whatever perspective y'all are in. Whether that's her taking the lead, whether that's him taking the lead.
But it takes conversation and communication. I think
Absolutely.
Not conversations, but relationships, they do lack that level of communication where people are open to how they're feeling, right? Like, they tell you, like, hey, this is not working for me, so let's adjust. And then you being willing to adjust for the relationship. But some people, they can be combative, they can be defensive, they take shit personal because it's like their past traumas are coming out now because they're like, oh, well, I did this in the last relationship. And like, I hate when people always bring up the last relationship, and that's been an issue with like me dating, is when we get to like, when things seem to be going to the next level, they tend to bring up their ex and like what happened, and like, oh, we did this and we did that. Don't tell me about your ex, because number one, I'm a different person, and I also feel like different people bring out different experiences.
Facts. Quick little tangent, because we want to get to the next question, but I think Dana said something really important. Like, relationships, you cannot include your ex into your next relationship.
That's a fact.
Like, I am not that person.
Yeah.
Even if I exhibit traits of that person,
right
I am not that person. So, ladies, fellas, just
it's such a turn off. Like, if you are so stuck on what happened in the past and what worked and an ex, like, then be with that ex. Right. And to me, if like you constantly bring that up, that just means you're not fully over it. So don't waste my time.
That's a fact.
So, my hot takes question is: you shouldn't hook up on the first date. Go ahead, Jamel. I want to hear you.
Listen, we men, so I mean, like, listen, I don't mind. Like, it depends on the maturity of the man and also the woman. Like, listen, as a man, I don't mind, but some men, yeah.
No, we got to dig a little deeper.
Like, as a man, I don't mind, but it's like, for some women, you know, they're not comfortable doing it, and you got to respect that as a man. But yeah, it really just depends on how mature the woman and also the man is, and also their intentions. What's the guy intentions is, and also the woman's, because like, there's some relationships that actually last, like when you know they have done it on the first night, and some haven't. The guy looked at it different, so I don't know. It depends on their maturity level.
Okay.
I want to just agree to what you just said. It does depend on the maturity level, because we're all grown. Like, we all make choices to sleep with someone on the first day or not, or if you want to wait. Like, that's your personal choice, which is cool. But if you do sleep with the person on the first date, like, I'm not judging.
Absolutely
if it's
not.
something you do all the time, then I'm gonna judge a little
Even
bit.
if you do it all the time, I'm not judging you. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Wrong.
but right. So, like you said, Jamel, the intention as well. Like, if you're dating with the intention of finding someone to have a long-term relationship with, then like, all right, if y'all hook up because the physical attraction is there, the chemistry is there, and then y'all maybe like have some alcohol and then it goes down, then like it goes down. But my thing is like, and I don't want to say my own personal stuff going on, but
we outside. Who outside?
But I had this but I had this conversation recently with somebody, right? And so his whole thing is like, he's a traditional man, and like his grandparents were married for X amount of years, and like his parents were still together, so he kind of like still follows that dynamic. So he felt the way because someone that he was dating, they had sex on the first date, and he was like, all right, well, that actually made me, because he said like men are like hunters, right? Like they're chasers, and like they go after a woman that they, I guess, want to build with or whatever. But then when he had sex with the person, it kind of like took that away a little bit.
It does.
And I'm like, okay, but at the same time, there's so much more that she has to offer, is my thing.
It could be.
No, it is.
No. I'm going to explain. It could be more that she has to offer. Yeah. But that's if he wants what she's offering. Like, you can't just assume that I want what you got because you got a whole lot to offer. Like, Walmart got a lot of shit in the store, but I go into Walmart for specific shit.
But they have like conversations, like they talk a lot on the phone for like hours.
Can I interrupt?
Who are you talking to for hours on the phone if you're not interested in?
When you go on Amazon, right? And I'll use the same analogy. Your cart full of shit, right? But when you order stuff, you order the whole cart or you order what you want? I'm just saying.
That doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. You're not going there and you're not grabbing every single thing that you see that you want, because I came here for the specifics.
Well, I feel like if you want to have sex with someone on the first date and you both are mature enough to have those conversations and like you're transparent of what you want, then like, to me, I feel like there's not an issue with that.
I still want the other shit. It's just not as important.
Yeah.
But let me answer it real quick because I'm actually going to shock y'all.
All right, let's hear it.
I don't suggest sex on the first date.
Okay.
I don't. I tell every man out here, don't bring a condom on the first date. Don't put it out there. Don't, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to convey to a woman that I am here for you. Like Dana said, she has more to, not you, but her friend has more to offer than just some pussy. So
I disagree.
Go out on, that's fine, because
that's why people be having illegitimate children.
Or you can go to the store and get some condoms. Like, you ain't never seen booty call?
But how many people have had kids on the first date, or like someone that they didn't intend on having children with, but you didn't have a condom because you thought it wouldn't lead to nothing, and now you have a child?
You can literally go to 7-Eleven. It's open 24 hours.
You can. But I'm just saying.
Jamel, have you ever went to 7-Eleven in the wee hours of the night to get some straps?
Not 7-Eleven, but definitely Walmart.
but I'm saying
Walmart
like
was 24/7.
There are children that were made. Like, I personally know blessings that were made from the parents not knowing each other, and like they were super outside and no one had protection.
Well, they're idiots. I'm sorry, guys. Your children are beautiful, but you're idiots.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you just, it's legal, isn't it? Or did they fuck that up? I fucked up.
I don't know. But let's get into Jamel's background, because hot takes always gets a little spicy.
Let's do it.
Okay, so like Aaron mentioned, you did find us on Instagram. I think you were following me first, or possibly the Instagram page.
I was following you first, and then I found out about your podcast.
But the podcast, yes. So we were speaking prior to the episode, and you actually have your own podcast.
Right.
So what is your podcast about?
My podcast is literally like, my podcast and also my content is about everything, but I know people want to hear about relationships and stuff, so I try to give everyone what they want. So I try to dive into everything, but you know, the relationship.
It's very trendy.
Yeah, right? The relationships and dating, that's what get the most, attention. So I cater to that most of the times.
I like that word. Yeah. That tension.
Yeah.
Right? We want attention.
Oh, that's what you said, attention?
No, I said tension. But y'all can go with both.
No, because tension is what really drives the steak. You feel me? I like that.
Okay,
But
so
go ahead, my bad.
and yeah, you're from
I'm
New
from
York?
Queens. Yeah, Queens, New York.
Okay.
Is that like Nas, 50 Cent? I don't know. I'm from Jersey.
Down the block from Nas, down the block. He's from Queensbridge. I'm from Ravenswoods.
Okay, that's dope.
We know what that means. We from Jersey.
Right.
He from Queensbridge Projects. I'm from Ravenswood Projects. It's in Long Island City, Queens. Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know
deep.
what's
That's
crazy?
far.
I worked at that Home Depot. I was a Black and Decker rep, so I do know a little bit of Long Island. What's that, Long Island City?
Yeah,
So
Long Island City. Yup.
it's a long ass street.
Yeah.
Yeah. 21st Street.
Right. So you did mention how your podcast is about dating and relationships, and your Instagram is very focused on dating and relationships.
Yeah.
He does a lot of reels where one of them that I saw was like, what is a high level man and like what is a high level woman? So like, where did you get that concept from? Because we recently spoke about Kevin Samuels and how his platform was basically like explaining to women why they don't really deserve a certain kind of man based off like who they are or whatever. But like for you, like where did that concept come from? Like was he an inspiration at any point?
I wouldn't say he was because I didn't really know about like, I watched a lot of the Roommates podcasts. You know, shout out to Feast and the Standard. But he was a guest on their podcast. So that's how I found out a little bit about his content. So I would say mine's is more centered around the Roommates and more Stefan Labossiere.
Okay.
He's one of the mentors in the group also. But the concept of the reels that I was posting, it stems from the women that I talk to every day and also the men that I talk to every day. So like what I would do is I will pull together what everyone is talking about, and I'll do research also to see what they're saying is true, and then I'll just put it all in a reel. So that's how I'll come up like with my list and everything.
Got you. So
Yeah.
do you feel like you're an expert when it comes to relationships?
Expert.
Well, first of all, let's ask about your past dating history.
Oh man.
Okay. So what was like when was your last relationship?
My last relationship, it ended. When did it end? It ended March.
2023. That was last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How long was it?
Around my birthday. It was for 11 months. It ended like March 7th, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And did you take away things from the relationship, and do you feel like
of course
it has influenced the content that you put out, or no?
Has it influenced the content that I put out?
Yeah.
Not really, because like when I met her, like I was already like talking and stuff. I already told her I was gonna start a podcast and everything.
Okay.
So I was already on this type of time. But one thing about like relationships, it helps you learn how to pick better. Also, it helps you learn how to grow.
Yes.
And
I agree.
It also helps you learn how to cherish what you had and appreciate what you had.
Yeah, that's why people be trying to go back to their ex.
Yeah.
But it's a reason. Like, the good outweighs the bad, right? It's that old 80-20 rule. So, honestly, that 20% ain't big enough for me to avoid what you gave to me. But what caused it, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
That's very personal.
It don't have to be the specifics, but like, was
I
it?
go there. We outside. I go there.
Okay.
Outside. But what caused it?
Like, what caused the end?
Was it you?
Was it me? No. Was it her? No. And that's why like
That's very mature of you to say.
right.
I ask these questions.
Like that's why I said like I was on this timing like before I met her, and like I was really mature when I met her, and I just noticed that it wasn't going to align long term. So one thing I didn't want to do was I didn't want to keep it going, knowing that it wasn't gonna like go anywhere.
Were there
long
specific
term.
signs though? Like, how do you know that it's not aligning with your future?
Well, the thing is, I'm moving to Dallas, Texas in October.
Shout out to Dallas.
Yeah, I'm moving to Dallas, Texas, and she already took a job and she moved to Atlanta, and which was cool. But the thing was, there was a little bit of problems with her. She wanted me to move to Atlanta with her, and I'm like, I got my goals, you got your goals.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop you from your goals, and you definitely not gonna stop me from mine. So that's what ended up happening. And also, there's long-term things that she wanted that I didn't want, and there's long-term things that I want that she doesn't want. So it just wasn't going to align.
So can we talk about long distance before we talk about the long term?
About that.
Yeah.
Because Dallas to Atlanta, obviously, it's a nice little flight. But do you think y'all couldn't make that work?
Yeah, we definitely could have made it work.
Okay.
But the thing is what we wanted long term. That wasn't going to work.
Was it children? Was it marriage?
Yeah, cause when I met her, I wasn't really I didn't really care about kids, but now that I'm actually really on my I already know down the line I'm gonna want kids, and she don't want no kids at all. So I had to respect that.
Kids is big. That's a big deal breaker.
What's her? I'm sorry to put you out there.
Nah, you good.
I apologize.
Be outside, bro.
What's her drawback? What's her drawback on children?
I don't know. She's just always been against it, and she wanted to I would never stop anyone from wanting to live their life.
Of course.
Me, I want to live in a house when I want to live in a house with my wife and my kids. She wanted more of live in an apartment and move state to state, bounce around. And granted, because she's a D1 volleyball coach, so yeah, so that's the life she wanted to live, and I knew long term that's not the life that I wanted. So it's just
you want a stability.
Yeah. So
so what's crazy is I hate compromise. I think compromise is bullshit, right? Because in order to compromise, I mean, one of us or both of us ain't getting what we want.
I disagree.
Which is fine. You can disagree with facts, but...
No, because with compromising, though, if there's two people in a relationship, like we said about being a partnership, you try to figure out what is the best situation, or
what's the best situation for him to not get the things he wants, and for her to not get the things
but he was mature enough to end things, which is dope, because there are people he's not compromising, right? Yeah. But these are important things that long term he sees himself having children, and I think children that's a big thing in a relationship where someone says I don't want this, and the other person does. You can't compromise with a child.
I think we're agreeing.
I'm thinking possibly. But when I think of compromise, I think of so for example, there's someone that I know, and they're not really a touchy-feely kind of person, right?
I gotta go.
So
sorry. No compromise there.
I am. That's one of my love languages. So I'm not gonna lie, to go back to the 80-20 thing, it's what if the 20% that you're not getting are big things that you want, but you still get everything else? Then
I look at it like it's weighted, right?
Okay.
Everything that I value has a weight to it, right? So while somebody might think, oh, that's just 20%, that's 2 out of the 8 things. No, that 2 things means 10 things to me.
And those things are big to you.
So it's you got to separate that. You can't just disregard what the fuck I want. This is why I don't believe in compromise, right? Because you might think it's a little thing, but no, that's a huge thing
When I think of compromise, though, I think of when you guys are living together and someone doesn't want to go to this particular restaurant because they don't eat this particular food, and then it's okay, well we'll check it out.
Yeah, but that's shit.
Right, that's what I think of. If it's big shit, having kids, or I don't go to church, so I know you go to church, but I'm not that person, and the person who does, they want you to convert and do all that extra shit for their religion. But that's a huge compromise,
that's big
right?
Stuff that's important. That's what makes and breaks relationships. I don't know Jamel and his ex's relationship too heavily, but I know it was things that mattered. It wasn't just my uncle and my aunt. I hope they don't watch this podcast. They had this shit with toothpaste.
Okay.
Swear to God,
I think I heard this before.
So he would push the toothpaste from the bottom. She would push the toothpaste from the middle. But every time she would go to the toothpaste, it was at the bottom. So it pissed her off.
But I think that stuff like that, though, is usually the cherry on top.
Yeah, it's a straw that broke the camel's back.
Other little things that, in the grand scheme of things, they end up being big things. Because that is something that I dealt with in my past relationship when I lived with somebody.
If you don't mind, what's an example of that straw that just, the smallest thing that fucks shit up?
I would say being messy to me is if I'm constantly picking up your clothes, because I am an organized person and I like things put back where you took it from. If it's I have to constantly tell you something to a point where I'm feeling like your mother, that to me is a deal breaker.
for me, it was random arguments, small shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we arguing every day. I don't want to do this shit no more. I'm out. But deep down, it's like this
Is it
petty
like
ass
little?
argument.
I was gonna say, is it petty, small?
It really didn't matter. But it was just like a microcosm of things to come.
Yeah.
So it's
little
like,
things.
when Jamel tells the story, it's like obviously the big things matter, but all it takes is that one little thing that just be like, you know what, fuck it.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. You definitely right. Because
Like,
I
take
think,
your ass out.
I think the little things, like the little things, you know, you're right. It is the cherry on top, and it piles on. It's just like you already got the big things that's not really working out. You don't see it working, but then the little things just pile on to it. So it's like the cherry on top. So it's like you definitely right on that, bro.
Especially like other people's family. Like, is that big for you guys? Like, if you don't get along with your significant other's family?
See,
Yeah.
I don't actually have that problem. I've always gotten along with other people's family.
Yeah, me too.
Like, remember I told
Me
you
too.
I told you about the girl I broke up with in high school.
Her mother like cursed you out.
And all the reason she cursed me out because she liked me. You know, it's like, damn, why did you do that to my 16-year-old
Yeah,
daughter?
with my situation with my first ex, things didn't work out with us, but his mother loved me to where like she was literally like cooking like oxtails because she was Jamaican, so she would always cook me oxtails. And then when we finally, and when we finally like broke up, I guess she was like hurt because she kept trying to call me on FaceTime. I mean on Facebook.
First off, time out. Can I interrupt?
What?
Mothers is faithful. Don't fall for that shit. Don't fall for a mother's love.
What do you mean?
I'm 50-50 on that.
No. I'm 100-0 on that.
What you mean? Like,
Listen.
if they like you or not?
No, they don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about their sons.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there
Alright,
was
so I
there
get
was
what
like
you're saying.
other little things though about her son that I'm not gonna like put things out there.
It don't even
But
matter.
I could tell that like I was like that picture perfect girl for her son that she saw his future with.
Which is fine. I'm not going to dispute that. All I'm saying is it's mothers that will ride for their sons that will kill a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
They will ride for their sons that will fuck a whole
Every
bunch of bitches.
mother is like that with their sons.
So,
That is a fact.
so do not fall. Sorry, mamas. Do not fall.
No, I wasn't falling for it. Like I was more so like it was weird to me of how hard she was going for us to get back together.
Because it's not about you.
I know it's not about
Yeah.
me, but I've never experienced that before.
Oh, these
But
mothers
like
go-
my mom is like that with my brother, where like any little thing that he does, personal problems coming out, but any little thing that he does,
Be outside.
she's like, it's not his fault. Oh, it was
Yeah, 'cause-
this person. I'm like,
Listen, it's the same way for daddies and
Okay.
their daughters. Like,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
when Nori gets older, she can do no wrong. I don't care. That's my baby. Like,
yeah, I feel like I'm like that for my dad.
Exactly.
Like I'm like that person that he sees. Speaking of my dad, so at work he was shouting out our podcast, and he
Okay.
was telling his coworkers.
he was
to
inside
subscribe.
at work.
He was inside.
He was inside at work.
He was at work shouting us out.
Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, shout out to him and his coworkers that
Pops.
watch, and they were like, "Oh, your daughter looks exactly like you."
Oh,
So,
they
yeah.
ain't saying nothing about me. You know, I actually had a good day at work. It was these women from DR. They was over there talking in Spanish, talking about
Oh, man.
muy guapo.
What the fuck does that mean?
Oh, it means something.
Okay. All right, so let's get into a topic that I wanted to talk about, and it goes along with what we were talking about with relationships. I'm so
Let's do it.
tired of talking about relationships.
I
But
love it.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna lie, me too.
But so the topic is, what does it mean to be a protector and a provider in 2023? So this came to me when I started thinking about just what I want in a partner, and my friends who became recently single because they felt like they weren't getting enough from their boyfriend. So one of the main things is that women nowadays, like, we have to work multiple jobs. Like, I know more women than not who have more than one job.
Right.
So if we're the ones like going out to work, providing, taking care of the kids and doing all this and that, what does that mean for you guys? So I'll let Jamel go first, and then Aaron could go first because I could tell by his face. He got a lot
I think
to say.
like I think well, actually now I can actually shout him out, Kev Sim, because I think in 2023 is a little bit different, because like as of right now, like as a man, I don't know, like me personally, like I'm gonna speak in a general sense at first. I think a lot of men, how can I say this? We've gotten somewhat complacent, a little bit complacent.
Very feminine, maybe?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't
Okay.
say feminine, but
I'm
like
just kidding.
we've gotten a little bit complacent. But the thing is like it's not like we're not doing the same thing that the men was doing, because back in the 1950s or whatever, like we all had jobs. But I think as of right now, the jobs that we have, it seems to not be somewhat good enough. Like maybe not making 50K or 60K. That might not be enough for a family.
Okay, so you need
Yeah.
2 people working in the household.
Right,
and,
right,
okay.
right. So, and I think like if a man, he wants a woman to be like what her gender roles is supposed to be, I think like a lot of men have a problem with making a little bit more money, or even like contributing, like for the dude who's probably playing, video games all day or something like that. He don't realize that your woman needs you, especially if she had your baby. Like
Yeah.
having a baby is not like a small thing. So it's just like, I think men and women, we've lost like a lot of touch on what we're actually supposed to be doing. And actually
Facts.
like, how can I say this? In the actual facts and the numbers on what we're supposed to be doing. Like a lot of people don't even know what the cost of living is. So
What does it mean being a protector, though? Because
Being
that
a
to me
protector.
was always like what does that mean? Because I know what being a provider is,
Right,
but like,
right.
what does it look like for you to be a protector to your woman? Is it like a physical
For me?
protector?
Yeah,
just
for me,
in general.
for me is like one thing I've learned from talking to a lot of people and personally, it's more than just physically.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like she has to be protected, emotionally, also spiritually, intellectually, mentally, because it's like the
Exactly.
same way it's a lot being a man, it's a lot being a woman. And I think if men are able to take that step to like somewhat understand women, they would find out that she needs to be protected in a whole lot more ways than just
physical.
than
Exactly.
physical. Yeah.
So I had an experience one time where this woman told me she felt safe with me, and I had never heard that before. It's just like, I just feel safe.
Right.
And it's like it opened up a new perspective. Like being a protector isn't just being a fighter.
Right.
It's also being a shield.
Did
right?
she say what exactly about you made her feel safe?
It's just how I am, how I speak to her, how I make her feel, the comfort that I allow her to, like she can be herself, right? When you walk into a space with a man, unfortunately, men have put other men in a position where women don't feel safe because of sexual harassment, sexual assault.
Facts.
And women operate with men on kid gloves. Like I don't know if I can trust you or not. Like if these lights are off, what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
Right. So when she said that to me, it really opened up my eyes. It really made me be more aware of what my role is as a man. It is not just as her man. Right. It's also as a brother, as a uncle, as a cousin, as a friend, as a
Absolutely.
teacher, as a co-worker, right? Like all these roles are very important as a man to a woman, where it's like you gotta make her feel comfortable.
Right.
And I know a lot of people will be like, man, she can make herself feel comfortable, which is fine. But
That's
I
a level of immaturity to me, though, because like for you to say all of that, like I think it's super dope, because that is something that like a lot of women do value. But there are some men out there who like I've witnessed to where like they don't understand what that means, and they don't want to understand what that means because they're so stuck in their own selfish ways that it's like, oh, like fuck her, like I don't care, like that's nothing to do with me. But like that it's the principle of it.
But I also think a lot of men don't know sometimes, right?
Right,
Now
right.
I'm gonna give a shout out because my cousin Justin likes when I say his name on the podcast,
Does
right? So
he gotta come on.
He got to come on, but he used to be a dispatcher for 911. So he would get a lot of stories, and he would hear a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he got a little bit of PTSD from that. And one day we was in Hoboken, and it was this woman, and it was her boyfriend or dude she was talking to, who knows. And they were in a little altercation or whatnot. Now, we as men, we like, man, let them do their shit. That's their shit. He's like, no, we need to go over there and help her out, make sure, like, we look out for her. Who
Was
knows
it
what
like
the
very
situation
like
is?
serious, like to where he was like yelling at her and pushing her?
No,
The guy?
it just was happening, right? We was
Okay.
drunk, so it was. Most of us weren't in our clear enough head to really understand the situation, but it's like everything stopped and he was in that protector mode.
Okay.
Right? And it's not no super saver whole shit. It's like, yo, I hear this so often that I don't know what's going on, and I'm not trying to stop him from doing nothing or her from doing nothing. I just want to make sure that everybody walk home safe.
Right.
And that really opened my eyes up to recognizing, like, you got to pay attention to what these situations are.
Right.
Because who knows what the fuck could happen. So shout out to him for opening my eyes to that.
He did a good thing.
And as a protector, as a man, he not only protected that woman in that situation, but he protected the next woman by opening up another man's eyes. So, kudos to him for that.
Yeah, drop a bomb.
Shout out to Justin.
Shout out to Justin.
Hey, hold on, time out. He just had a new baby, Priya. What up? Can't wait
What's
to
the
meet you.
baby's name?
Priya.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it should have been Sedora, but it's all good. They watched the pod, so.
Okay, so let's get to our next topic.
She don't sound excited. She don't sound excited, but it's okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about relationship stuff, and to me, it's like I'm going through it right now.
How about this?
Right.
We won't talk about a relationship. We'll talk about a situationship. Anyways,
I think we talked
That'd
about
be even worse.
situationships. Do y'all want to talk about situationships?
We
and
want
what that is?
situationships.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what my definition of a situationship is. So, a situationship is when two people start dating, or they end up just talking on a level to where they start to get intimate. But there's usually one person who,
or two,
both of them,
could be,
or three.
Can we just talk about two? Let's talk about two traditional, like, monogamous relationship, right? But a situationship. So there's usually one person who likes the other person more, and like their feelings are now involved after. Sometimes conversations aren't even had, right? Of like, what are we? And it kind of just like manifests into this thing where like they hang out, they're getting intimate. There's feelings there. There's usually feelings from both sides, but one person just doesn't want to commit to the other person. So it's like these can happen for years at a time, usually, and they're actually more. I don't want to say stable, but they last longer than relationships, which is crazy.
I think we need, from that definition, it's two pertinent questions that we need to ask.
Okay.
How long should it last, and why do they last?
I don't even think there should be a thing.
Why not?
I feel like it's a waste of time.
Is it?
Situationships.
Let's hear Jamel. Let's hear Jamel. Let's
because I got some shit.
I mean, it depends on like how old you are, and also like what stage you at in your life. Because like in college, I think situationships, that's common. Situationships in college,
right?
But once you get a little bit older, and once you get like out of college, and you like enter your 30s, maybe your 40s, situationships, you gotta stay away from those. Like I don't know,
that shit is embarrassing.
Unless it's like I don't know,
because like you said, if you're out of college, and to me, usually you're more like mentally mature. Like I feel like mature comes into play with a lot of these situations, because it's like, how long are you going to straggle someone along who has real feelings for you, but because it's either convenient to where they're always there for you to just come over whenever you call, or it's like you want to always keep them there like at like arm's length because you don't want to actually like bring them in.
You know what? I understand. I'm gonna give y'all some math. Y'all like math, right?
I don't like math.
I like math.
I like it sometimes.
If I get a 0% in math class,
here he goes.
Right?
Percentages.
That's an F. If I get a 50% in math class, that's an F, right? Marriage has a 50% success rate. Situationships have a 0% success rate. It's an F regardless. None of this shit is working. So you can't tell me that
Nah.
You want to do the math?
I disagree.
You could disagree with the math.
We're only talking about situationships. We're not talking about marriages.
Listen,
so, like,
you
when
said
it comes
you need to
to
be mature and all this shit.
No, hold on. When it comes to situationships, right? Like, do you think, like, how do you feel about them?
I feel like
Solely just situationships
are just, life goes on. You here for a good time, not a long time. Whether you getting married or whether y'all just fucking around, it is gonna end at the same thing. You're gonna die.
That's
whether
very
it's
pessimistic to say.
I think it's not. I think it's very
is.
optimistic to say, because I can fall in love and I can have love in different ways, but we so hell bent on this specific way to be in love where I just gotta be married. And
I want to hear about this way. I like to learn.
Yeah, you see, I'm encouraging and inspiring.
Love in different ways.
No, if you are stuck, because most times
you're not stuck,
but most times with situationships, like, someone's feelings gets hurt because they truly care for another person, and like this person does not want to commit to them. Like it usually stems from commitment issues.
It's not a commitment issue.
It is.
So how come the person that wants to commit to somebody who doesn't want to commit don't have commitment issues? Clearly, you have a commitment issue if you're trying to force me to commit with you.
Specific person.
Okay, no one said you can't. You can still continue to have those feelings. What is stopping you? Oh, because I'm not
specifying you. The person that you want doesn't want you.
I'll give you everything that you want.
Nah.
Everything
I
that
disagree.
you want. You can disagree with the facts. This is.
It's not.
You know
facts.
what? We're gonna
every
name
opinion
this.
you say is not a fact. That's
I'm
your
not gonna
personal
lie.
opinion.
One thing I'll say is it depends on what most people want, and from talking to and just talking and also hearing from most people, even like the men, most people want a relationship. They want at least one companion. Now, some people, they get their one companion and they start looking for others. They start doing their little thing on the side. But I think like most women and also most men, they all want at least one companion.
They want someone they can call their own.
Yes, but it also depends on what you value. Do you value a monogamous relationship or a poly relationship with multiple people? And it goes back to the communication thing. If you value a monogamous relationship and the person that you're dating or like you're talking to does not value the same thing, then you will eventually go into a situationship because you still care about them and you like them and you're trying to change their views to what you want.
But deep down, I don't think it matters if you're poly or monogamous. If I want you, I want you. And I think that's what it boils down to. That's why situationships get so toxic, because it's like we talked about acrimony. As much as I want you the way that I want you, regardless. I might be able to let you go, but don't give
But then it's your personal boundaries, right? Because it's like, if you don't have these boundaries for yourself, then you will end up in a situationship. But if you know you want a monogamous relationship in a marriage because you still value marriage, because I do, it's like, well, the person that I'm dating, do they have the same values? And if so, okay, let's work towards being together and married.
How do y'all let that situationship go? Let's start with Jamel.
Let the situationship go.
Yep.
And we talking personal. Let's get personal. Have you ever been in one?
Have I ever been in a situationship? Maybe in college. I wouldn't say outside of college, but me knowing the man that I am, as of right now, I would avoid it. But back in college, damn, this is gonna be tough to talk about. Back in college, I was in a few situationships.
At the same time?
Yeah.
He was outside for real.
Yeah,
damn,
college,
was your
I was
name
outside.
Mike? Because you was a situation. Shit.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Situation.
That was a good one.
No, I didn't get it.
And they, to be honest, at that age, I didn't know how to end it, and the women ended it. As a matter of fact, they got pissed off.
It's usually the women.
The women ended it. I kept it going as long as I could, because we in college, we men, but. Yeah, the women had to end that. I didn't know how to end it. As of right now, I just avoid it. And I think after college, I've never been in a situationship, to be honest.
Would you take any of those women from those situationships as a significant other?
Damn, nah.
Damn, yo, I be asking the questions, yo.
That was a good one.
So for me,
okay, and I
had a situationship at one point in time in my life. And I didn't want to end it because for what? It was convenient for me. But
that's what I said.
At the same time, she had values, like Dana says, where it's like, look, even if I know it's a nigga that I'll settle for and a dude that I don't actually really want in life, I'm willing to take that as a father to my child, as someone I can rely on to assist me with bills and all this kind of stuff. So I took the L. Yeah. Because the dick wasn't worth the lifetime of advancement, right? I'm not providing her anything of substance.
Right.
But a good time. And I consider it like crack, right? First time you take crack, it's the highest high you ever gonna get. I'm serious.
That's unbelievable.
Crack is the analogy.
It's the highest high you ever gonna get.
Oh, man.
But you ain't never gonna get that crack high.
You keep chasing that high. Nothing can give you the crack high. But I'm not promoting drugs.
She's a recovering addict, so
oh God.
If you ever want the dick back, no, just messing.
All right, let me talk about my situationship, because mine was actually a few years after college. So it was probably like, and don't do the math here, is when I graduated college.
1 + 1 + 2.
Chill. But it was a couple years, and to me it was more so like fun in the beginning. Like it was literally just based off like a good time, not a long time, and when we're together, like we just had a good time.
Right.
But then, you know, like feelings got involved, and then both of our feelings got.
See, you heard her, right?
Hold on.
Both sides got involved.
Hold on, time out. She said feelings got involved, and then both of their feelings got involved.
Yes.
So who's got involved first?
I'm not saying that, but
we know the answer to that.
Feelings got involved, right? But like on a serious note, though, like I did see this person as like someone that I can have a marriage with. Like I saw my future in this person, and then it was like, okay, I would sort of like hint that I didn't want to just have a situationship or just be okay with what we're doing, because I wanted something more serious. And they were kind of like, to me, I felt like they were just like avoiding that kind of conversation, and they would just like switch the conversation whenever we got to talking about that.
I wouldn't even avoid it.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
So then, after a while, like I had to set my boundary and be like, yo, this person told me what they, and right, like the person tells me what they're not doing and what they want and standing their ground, which I respect. But for me, it's like, let me do the same. Let me now be like, all right, I'm not getting what I want from this person, so what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm just wasting time at this point. So then, like, we went our separate ways. But I think it got to a point where, like, the person realized that I set my boundaries. And they were like, oh, shit, like, she's serious. And then they tried to...
That happens.
I was having withdrawals as far as like being around that person, because like the chemistry was dope. Like we always had a good time, like I said. But I was like, in the grand scheme of things, like I know this person doesn't want the same things as me. So ultimately I cut it off. And then I feel like they tried to spin a block and be like, oh, actually, hold on. Like, I may want the same thing as you. But at that point, I was like, nah.
Those are the withdrawals. I'm not going to lie. Those are the withdrawals.
Yeah.
So let's talk about spinning the block real quick. Because if I spin the block and you answer the door, what I'm supposed to do? Am I supposed to continue to be situation man or woman? Or am I supposed to change?
No, because this is your boundary, right? Like if the person that you spin a block for, if they said they're done with you, but then they open the door like you said, then they're not actually standing on their boundaries and they're not standing on what they said. So you gonna come in because the door is open and you having a good time, not a long time, because that's how you feel.
Yeah, it depends on what time you on. If you on the same time, and that ain't gonna work.
But I think that's the hard part of the situation.
It is hard. It's
because
hard.
The withdrawals be crazy.
So with the end of my situationship, we were punctuated, is what I'll call it. This is the stopping point. This is the last time. No matter what, we are just going to end. This is going to be this. No matter what the bliss is, this is done.
And you can't hang out either.
We can't talk.
You
can try.
I didn't like that. That happened to me.
You can try.
Yeah.
I might even respond to you, but you ain't getting much more than general conversation, small talk. But I know what it is, and I gotta stand on it. That is when you know a situationship is actually over.
Yes. When you know that you cannot see this person.
Right.
Because niggas will try.
They will. They definitely will. If the door is open, like you said.
I'm gonna lie, that happened to me in college. I did not like that. She's like, yo, this is the last time. As much as I want to, I'm not doing this anymore. This is the last time we doing this, and that's it.
But that's a woman thing, right? Because women usually set that ultimatum. Ladies, y'all gotta stand on that. Because we gonna try it.
Heavy.
Yes.
Because we gonna try it.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to get new pussy. It's another thing to get pussy we done already had. Yeah. If you gonna sit there,
especially if it's fire,
exactly. If you gonna sit there and you gonna open that door and leave it cracked, we gonna slide in. Like it's the truth, Ruth.
It is. No, it is the
on
truth.
A board night, if you bored, like.
And I'm glad y'all are like saying this and like putting it out there, because I think this is an ugly truth that a lot of people who are in situationships and they say they don't know how to end it, or like you end up in a actual relationship with someone and then you cheat with someone who was the person you're in your situationship
especially
with.
Women cheat with men that they are sure of. They're not about to waste their cheat.
Not sure of. Like, they do it with someone that they've been with before prior to you.
But see, a nigga,
they got a vibe with.
A nigga cheat with a girl that look good. Like, oh man, that's some fat ass right there.
Right.
But women, no. I've been with this man before.
It's
I know
an
what this is
emotional
going
connection.
to be like.
She got a vibe with the dude.
I'm going to make sure that it's worth my time. I'm not going to waste my time with no new nigga unless he's a nigga that's like.
Unless it's.
Unless you're on vacation or something. Like you gotta be a celebrity or you on vacation.
They'll take a shot on vacation.
No, not on vacation.
Trust me, women on vacation are the most promiscuous out of them all. I've been on them.
Damn, how you know?
And you was the guy that like they cheated with?
Yeah,
he was the one carrying what's her name? Tiffany Haddish through
on Girls Trip.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, like for men, like if you want to catch like anything like easy, it's best to do it while she's on vacation.
He's a relationship expert, ladies.
Hard truth. Yeah, women on vacation.
Guys on vacation.
No, put time out.
Oh yeah, especially guys. We already know that.
Anytime,
but
if you want to do, you can get to do anytime.
Yeah.
But what this boils down to is
not you getting all serious.
You already know. Situationships are not a red flag.
They're toxic, and you should avoid them at all costs.
I say they cool in college.
All right, but I want to get into one topic before we get you out of here. We got a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a relationship expert, and I know
Not
Dana.
Expert yet. I'm working on marriage. I
know Dana hates talking about relationships. The reason that I believe Dana hates talking about that is because the internet is a detriment to how we date.
Right.
What's dating like on the internet?
Dating is crazy on the internet, especially for the men who I talk to every day. Right now I say it's a little bit saturated, and it's like the expectations have gotten crazy, and also the selection has gotten more crazy. Also, like for men and women, is more skewed now. Like for men and women, people are more picky now than ever. Mm-hmm. Now that we have everyone like at our screen, like right there, we swipe left, swipe right.
Oh, we're talking about dating apps.
Yeah, dating apps, like Instagram, all of that. Because like
people be in my DMs trying to like date and catch my
attention. Men is everywhere.
Boy up in my DMs because I'm
Tinder.
Yeah, but I think like now it's like it's really about the haves and have-nots. Mm-hmm. So if you don't got it, you ain't getting that attention. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to put in the work to get that attention, then you just like, because there's so many more options. Mm-hmm. Like, why would a woman or a man choose you when they can have this, and this?
But what about a woman that's already have a choice, or a man that already has a choice?
A man that already has a choice.
When you see nothing but availability, how does that make it easy for you to date and have a legitimate relationship in today's society?
For men?
For anybody. Because women, men a little bit more trouble, but women have trouble too.
Yeah, I say for men, like having an abundance of options, like I say it depends on how long he's had those options. Because there's some dudes, like, say a dude get drafted, now all of a sudden you got access now. Mm-hmm. You know, you was in the hood, now you in the league. So, but if you was a guy and you been that guy since middle school, it's a little bit different. You might be tired of all the women. Mm-hmm. So once you hit 30s, 40s, I've been there, done that.
And now you're looking to settle down.
Right.
I would say, just to speak from a woman's perspective on Instagram, like we don't really take pictures as like, oh, I want to be with this guy, or like, oh, let me send him a DM. Like, I don't know about most women, but for me, I don't use Instagram as like a way to date people. Like, I'll like your picture, but I'm not going to do the most like a whole bunch of pictures, slide on your DM, just because. And I think it actually goes back to what you said, and this isn't me being like conceited or anything, but like I've gotten attention not my whole life, because I was ugly in middle school, but for the majority of my life, and in person too. So but in person it's like, oh, people give me compliments, so I'm like, all right, that's great, but do I want compliments from you? Not really. Like, I want it from one particular person.
Right.
So
but I also don't think men use Instagram like that either. I think we use it as shot in the dark. Like, I think it depends on the man.
I think y'all shoot y'all shot more, though.
We shoot it, but it's like, I don't give a fuck if it miss or make. Because at the end of the day, even if I make it, I'm still gonna shoot my shot to them other 100, 200,
Facts.
300 girls.
That's terrible.
Because most of the time it's boredom.
Yeah, and it's like most women, like, do you answer every DM you get?
No, I send it to the restriction.
And that's
with the
why,
bars.
and that's
Hit 'em with
why
the
you got to
bars.
send out the 100, because most women like yourself, they not going to answer. So it's best to send out 100 instead of sending out
That's
just
crazy
5.
though. Like,
But half the
why?
time it's not on purpose.
It's
Like
just natural.
if I see you look good and I hit a heart, you get a heart.
But how does that work then when you now are in a relationship? Like you have somebody with you and like you're committed, but you're still on like, does your behavior change then? Like are you still shooting your shot to all these 300 women in their DMs?
I mean, if you're in a monogamous relationship, you shouldn't be shooting your shot.
Are you cherishing the girl that you're with, or are you still like, oh no?
If
like,
y'all both agreed to monogamy, you should be.
You can't answer this question.
I mean,
I want to answer it.
there's some dudes who's like not mature enough to be doing that. But my thing is, if you agreed to be in a monogamous relationship and there was no open relationship, you should
take it serious.
But some dudes, they might mess it up a little bit. I don't know. Some of us not there yet.
Hold on. We gonna end it on this note, because I gotta get this off. We cannot continue to look at relationships like it's the Stone Age, like it's the 1920s. And I mean, unfortunately, I can't send you a letter and you get that shit in 43 days for you to tell me how you feel about me.
That doesn't mean it's a Stone Age because you are committed to one person.
But you also didn't have the access to a million women.
Right, which is true. I can agree to that.
That's
but at the same time, it's like, why not? Why can't we take certain values from then till today?
But you're taking values from back then when they didn't have the option to do it this way.
So you think if they had the options, they would still
be
with a whole bunch of people?
Yeah, like, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Listen, it's a reason that men can't seem to function properly in today's society on the internet, because we have an abundance of options. Like, listen, Dana is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. At the end of the day, it's still another girl that's just as fine. It's just another girl that's just as tall. Just another girl that's just as short. It's just another girl with an ass that's just as fat, titties just as big, a smile just as nice.
I think there's still men out there. Like, women don't get discouraged. There's still traditional men out there who value marriage and monogamy, and they still want that with one woman. Like, just because they have all this access, that doesn't automatically mean he's gonna send out a DM to every single girl that's attractive.
Not every man, but also, listen, if I feel like I got it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, like, it's a difference. Like, if you got a guy who just got drafted in the league, it's a different amount of options he's getting.
That's different. That's another level of stardom.
Wow.
I'm talking about the basic guy who has like an everyday job.
So say a guy like this who was fat before and now he lost weight and now he look good.
They still know that they're not.
But the thing is, like, he don't know how to handle all the options that he's getting. So like,
my comment to myself.
Yeah, it's like a kid in the candy store. Like, when you ain't have no access to the candy store, but now you finally got access to it, you gonna eat everything in sight. Everything in sight. So it's just like
Twizzlers,
like I said,
stoppers, motherfucking cashews, peanut chews.
So like, it depends on how long he had those options. Because dudes who just got it, they gonna go crazy. But if you had it for a minute, then you might be a little bit more mature with it.
Well, I need somebody who's had attention for a minute and who's not looking for it for everybody. Okay, so if that's you, maybe I'll answer your DM.
And if it isn't you, you can always hit up woawpod@gmail.com to get our attention, because we're going to answer it. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk to the
engagement,
people.
And you can possibly be in this middle seat and join the conversation as well.
Very comfortable here.
First and foremost, we want to give a huge thank you to Jamel. Jamel,
thank you.
Dope ass to the show.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate
Anything you want to drop before we go?
One thing I wanted to say is, like, I think men and women, we should all, get in touch with each other, try to figure each other out, and also just always do the righteous thing and spread love. That's it.
If y'all want to get in touch with me, you know where to find me. Now Aaron _ at Instagram.
Jamel Phones and Homes.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to put all of our handles on the screen. But on that note, guys, thank you for tuning in. And we outside.
We out.